Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Matt. Welcome to the channel. I managed to come out here today and successfully get the bike turned around without messing up my hand. Still got a load of stitches in here from my carpal tunnel surgery, but I was bored as hell in the house, and the longer I'm in there, the more opportunity there is for me to bug the heck out of my wife. So I decided I'd come out here and try and do a video on my windscreen setup on the bike. I've had several people ask me now what I was running for a windscreen setup. So here we are. I also wanted to try out my new microphone. So I'm moving up in the YouTube world for all of you out there so you can hear my crackly ass voice a little better. And I got a cheap Amazon mic. So if anybody wants to comment on my, let's see here, how well you can hear me with this crappy little Amazon mic, please comment below. I'd love to hear the difference or what you feel like if there's any difference in my videos. Anyway, back on topic, the windscreen. So yeah, I've had a few people ask me about my windscreen setup. So seems to be a relatively common topic I see come up online about the airflow, the turbulent air, the wind noise coming across the 800DE. Now, every bike that I've ever owned that had any type of windscreen setup at all, I always had to deal with turbulent air nailing my helmet, creating that buffeting, the wind noise. For me, it's usually just aggravating noise. Um, and I've made adjustments or just lived with it or whatever. The best bikes I've ever had that I did not have to deal with any kind of turbulent air was just, well, it was naked bikes. Bikes that I had super clean air coming across my helmet. Those were the best. The 800, typical adventure bike, mid-size adventure bike. I guess maybe this wind noise thing might be a little more prominent on adventure bikes just due to their shape. I mean, it is what it is. But so we all know the DE, or maybe we don't all know, but the DEs come with these smaller, clear windscreens. The road version of the bike has a little bit larger, a little bit wider, taller screen. But those guys also seem to complain about the wind noise. I originally thought about getting the bigger windscreen, just the Suzuki one, but I'm not a big fan of big screens. Um, and I saw guys were still complaining about it. So I didn't waste the money on getting one of those. I've looked at other aftermarket screens and I've seen some guys putting some screens that are like freaking huge, like what's something you'd see on a big Harley. I don't know. I don't want that. Again, I don't want to look through a screen. I don't like it. I don't want anything impeding my vision. So I kept it small. First thing I tried with the stock screen was I went on eBay and I found these cheap little adapters, whatever you want to call it, frames, and they just bolt on to the existing framework that's behind the windscreen, and it just gives you a riser. You can adjust the screen height. So I did that with that screen first. It didn't help. I did not change anything. So then I played with the stock screen, the little screen, and I played with angles. I tried shimming it. Helped a little bit, but I didn't spend enough time experimenting with it. But I just left it alone. I was like, screw it, is what it is. So one day I was camping, not on the bike. I was camping from my Ginu actually, and I was goofing off on my phone, and I saw somebody had posted on one of the Facebook groups this screen, the Puge, if that's how you pronounce it, the Puge sport screen in black on the same color combination bike. And I just liked it. I was like, I looked it up, ordered, boom. It was in the mailbox in a couple of days. I put it on. I just liked the way it looked. It did not change anything as far as the airflow comes across my helmet. But then I went back to playing with it again. So then I went back to these adapters and I raised it as high as I could. So it was actually probably sitting up about like this and didn't help anything. So I finally got around to trying a wind deflector. So I was all over Amazon, the different websites, all your different, Revzilla, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I decided to settle on, since I had the Puge Sport Screen, I decided I would get the Puge clip-on wind deflector. It was $75, $80 off Amazon. I was kind of hesitant to order it. And then they have some other ones that have, I think, probably a little better mounting system than this particular one does. And I will give you some close-ups here of what I've got so you can see it. I'm just kind of giving you the backstory at the moment. So I was hesitant to order this because of the cost. So I found cheaper ones on Amazon that looked like the same mounting hardware and slightly different shape of the deflector itself. Real similar, real close. $20, $25. I really wanted to order those just because they were cheap and I wanted to try it. And there's a couple of different versions and different ones on Amazon, and I'm just picking on Amazon because, well, I always look at Amazon. So I finally decided this must be the best one, or better one, maybe one in the middle price range. Ordered that one. It's supposed to work with all the Puge screens, so figured I'd get it. So I got it. It came in, and I wasn't really that impressed, to be honest. It's the mounting hardware on it that I don't particularly care for. But I put it on there anyway, and I'll get into a little more detail, and I'll show you some close-ups of what all I'm talking about. I put it on, wasn't really impressed. Went for a test ride. So it did make a difference. The deflector did make a difference. So I went one day and I picked a stretch of road where I could run about 1 mile straight, one direction, varied speeds, turn around, come back, and play with angles. I took tools with me to play with this. I took the adapters, and I'll tell you what I ended up settling on was spacing the bottom of the sport screen out, raking it back. About 7 degrees is what I ended up with. That's what made the difference, raking this back. I played with a lot of angles. I angled it forward. I had it straight up and down almost at one point. I had it raked out. I played with the deflector. I took the deflector off. I played with different heights. I spent a lot of time. Run out a mile, turn around, run back, change it. So what I settled on was what you see here. The sport screen without the brackets that I got off of eBay in the upper position on the Suzuki's stock framework with the bottom shimmed out that way so that the screen rakes back like that. It raked it back about 7, maybe 8 degrees. What I used to space it out with was just fuel line. I had rubber fuel line. I just cut it and played with different lengths, and these are naturally just longer or shorter nuts and bolts. So it's roughly a 1/4 inch spacer that I have in the bottom to give me that 7-ish degree angle back. With the deflector on here, just in this mid position at the same angle, it eliminated probably 75% of what I was experiencing with wind noise and just turbulent air. Now, I am 5'7", and I run an XD5 helmet. So for my height and this helmet, this particular setup works well for me. When I get on the dirt roads, you can just pop it down. It's a little bit less in my line of sight. If I get on the highway, I don't notice that much of a difference with it in the raised position. But if you click it, and I don't know if I can do this with my hand, like that, I found that that position, if I was going to do a long run on the interstate, I'd probably run it like that. And it makes a pretty good difference. So I do have to say, the sport screen, put that back down, the sport screen with a deflector, not necessarily this deflector, but a deflector, With it angled out, again, for my height, my helmet, it did the trick without going to a huge windscreen. Um, Again, it's just my personal preference. I don't want a big windscreen. I just don't want it. Now, downfalls to this, which it could be a downfall, depends on how you look at it. As soon as I get on a rocky road, this thing will just vibrate down. Some people that might annoy you. Me, it does a little bit, but at the same time, I kind of take it as a pro because I don't want it up higher when I'm on a dirt road or on a trail. So it kind of like automatically drops. It's also very easy for me to grab when I'm riding and I get back out on the road. I can just grab it and slide it back up. When I'm on the road, it stays there. I don't have any issues with it then. But that's how I've got it set up, and it works very well for me. So, sport screen all the way up, shimmed out on the bottom, roughly 1/4 inch spacers to get the angle that I've got with a deflector. Now, would I buy the sport screen again? Yeah, because I like the way it looks. Honestly, that's the only reason I bought it, because I like the way it looked. I like the shape. I like the black screen. Could you do the same thing with this? Probably. Probably do the exact same thing with this and accomplish the same, get the same outcome. Would I buy this again? Probably not. I wouldn't buy it again because, in my opinion, their mounts are chintzy. I don't like them. They're very flimsy. From what I could see in pictures on Amazon, the $25 deflectors that are on Amazon use the exact same mounting system. The same part that clips onto my sport screen, they appear to be, in pictures, the exact same mounts. I found several clip-on deflectors that have this same mount and this exact same style ribbed mounting system, identical. Even the dimensions on the pictures on the listings are the same. Now, they do have slightly different shape deflector. Is that really going to make a big difference? I don't know. It might, but since I don't have one for comparison, I can't say. So if this one was to break or fly off and I couldn't recover it, I would not order another one of these. And again, it just goes back to the mounting system. The cost for the mounting system, yeah, I'm not big on it. I would order one of the $25 or $30 ones off Amazon that run the exact same mounts. I would try one of those. If one of these mounts was to break, I would order one of those $25 clip-on deflectors and use the hardware off of it to fix this one. So that's my take on that. I am very happy with the setup. It works well for me. Like I said, it cuts out about 75% of the wind noise and the turbulent air. So I'm going to stop running my mouth and I'm going to try and give you a few close-ups of how I have this mounted on here. All right, so a little close-up view of the screen itself. Now those are the chintzy-ass plastic mounts that I don't care for. They appear to be, like I said before, the exact same mounts that are used on the cheap $25, $30 ones off of Amazon. Even this, it's all the same from what I could see in pictures, and the dimensions are the same from what I could see. But yes, they do have a slightly different shape in the deflector itself, and that could very possibly make a big difference. The sport screen itself, like I said, I like that. I'm happy with it. And you can look in here and see that's roughly a 1/4 inch spacer I have shimmed out on the bottom. Nothing on the top. And that's what rakes it back to roughly 7 degrees. You know, in addition, I guess you could say 7 degrees more of an angle compared to the original OEM screen. I like it. I don't think it looks too bad, and it works. And from my, let's see here, my viewpoint, sitting on the bike, again, it's hard to tell in here in the shed. You'd have to get out on the road and ride it, but it is not in my line of sight, and I do appreciate that. So yeah, that's my setup on the windscreen. That's how I have mine set up. It works well for me. Um, that's what I'm going to ride with on this bike for, well, I guess as long as I've got the bike. Uh, I guess it'd be cool to try a big windscreen on it one time. Like if somebody had one and they're like, here, let's swap them real quick, go for a short ride. I'd do that, but I would not spend the money on a big windscreen. Again, this is the minimalist thing is kind of my preference. So, Puge sport screen, Puge wind deflector. Would I do another one of these? Nah, I'd probably try a little cheaper one. Would I do another one of these? Yeah, I just like the way it looks. So that's it. Guys, y'all let me know what you run on yours. Have you tried anything different? Maybe I should try something different with this setup. I'd love to get it better, maybe fine tune it some more. Um, yeah, that's it. Also, let me know what you think of the mic. Did it make a difference? Was it worth the $25 price tag for my microphone? Anyway, that's it, guys. Y'all be good. Everybody enjoy every day you can while you can. You never know. You might not have tomorrow. Everybody be good. So yeah, that's my with